Declaration of the Union 1971 to 1972. On 29 and November 30, 1971, a contingent of the Iranian army supported by the Iranian naval forces occupied the islands of Abu Musa and the Lesser and Greater Tuns. In Greater Tun, 6 policemen clashed with approximately 2,000 Iranian troops, and in the ensuing skirmish 4 RAS Al-Qaeda policemen and 3 Iranian soldiers were killed. The Iranian troops then demolished the police station, the school, and a number of houses, and forced the natives to leave the island. The deceased were buried on the island while the residents were put on fishing boats and expelled to RAS Al-Qaeda. The Imperial Iranian Navy seized the islands with little resistance from the tiny Arab police force stationed there. The population of Greater Tun in 1971 was 150. The first soldier killed on Greater Tun was Salem Suhail bin Khamis, who was shot and killed after he refused to lower the RAS Al-Qaeda flag. The death of the 20-year-old bin Khamis is marked as the date of the first martyr in the United Arab Emirates, and November 30th is celebrated as Commemoration Day. The ruler of Sharjah was forced to agree to negotiate for Iranian troops to occupy Abu Musa. His options were either to negotiate to save part of the territory or forego the restoration of the remaining part of the island for good. When the British Trucial Chiefdoms Treaty expired on December 1, 1971, the Trucial states became independent chiefdoms. 4 more Trucial states, Oman, Sharjah, Al-Kuwain, and Fujairah, joined Abu Dhabi and Dubai in signing the UAE's founding treaty, with the draft constitution in place drafted in record time to meet the December 2, 1971 deadline. On that date, at the Dubai Guest House, now known as Union House, the Emirates agreed to enter into a union to be called the United Arab Emirates. RAS Al-Qaeda joined in February 1972. On January 24, 1972, the former deposed ruler of Sharjah, Sheikh Sikr bin Sultan al-Qasimai, with an armed group supported by RAS Al-Qaeda, forced his way into the palace of Sharjah's ruler Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed al-Qasimai, occupied it, and demanded to be recognized as the sole ruler of Sharjah. Sikr had been deposed in 1965 by the British because he supported and received assistance from the Arab League, which Britain objected to at the time. He saw the opportunity to make a comeback as the British had terminated their commitments to the Trucial states. The incident led to UAE Defense Force mobilizing for the first time. In a joint action, this force and the Abu Dhabi Defense Force, together with popular resistance in Sharjah, managed to bring the situation under control and to cut the lines of supplies from RAS Al-Qaeda. After the palace was besieged, Akra surrendered with his group to the federal authorities. However, Sharjah's ruler Sheikh Khalid had already been killed in the palace. The incident was a direct attack on the authority of a member emirate of the UAE and the murder of a ruler and Supreme Council member, and it constituted a test for the new union at a time when the wound caused by the occupation of the 3 islands had not yet healed. On January 25, 1972, the ruling family in Sharjah met to choose a new ruler for the emirate, and Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammad al-Qasimai, the brother of the late ruler, was unanimously chosen to succeed him. The Supreme Council met in emergency session to consider the situation, and besides issuing an obituary of Sheikh Khalid, officially proclaimed the accession. The move to form a union took place at a time of unprecedented instability in the region, with a border dispute that resulted 22 deaths in Kalba, and a coup in Sharjah in January 1972. The then Emir of Qatar was deposed by his cousin in February 1972. 21st century. 2001 to 2003. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the United States, the UAE was identified as a major financial center used by Al-Qaeda in transferring money to the hijackers. The nation immediately cooperated with the United States, freezing accounts tied to suspected terrorists and strongly clamping down on money laundering. The country had already signed a military defense agreement with the United States in 1994 and one with France in 1977. The UAE supports military operations from the United States and other coalition nations engaged in the invasion of Afghanistan, 2001, and Iraq, 2003, as well as operations supporting the global war on terrorism for the Horn of Africa at Al Dhafra Air Base, located outside of Abu Dhabi. The air base also supported Allied operations during the 1991 Persian Gulf War and Operation Northern Watch, 2004 to 2008. On November 2, 2004, the UAE's first president, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, died. His eldest son, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, succeeded him as ruler of Abu Dhabi. In accordance with the constitution, the UAE's Supreme Council of Rulers elected Khalifa as president. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan succeeded Khalifa as Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. In January 2006, Sheikh Maktoum bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Prime Minister of the UAE and the ruler of Dubai, died, and Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum assumed both roles. In March 2006, the United States forced the state-owned Dubai Ports World to relinquish control of terminals at 6 major American ports. Critics of the ports deal feared an increased risk of terrorist attack, saying the UAE had been home to 2 of the 9/11 hijackers. In December 2006, the UAE prepared for its first election to determine half the members of UAE's Federal National Council from 450 candidates. However, only 7,000 Emirati citizens, less than 1% of the Emirati population, were given the right to vote in the election. The exact manner of selection was opaque. Notably, women were included in the electorate. 2011, present day. In August 2011, the Middle East saw a number of pro-democratic uprisings, popularly known as the Arab Spring. The UAE saw comparatively little unrest, but did face one high-profile case in which 5 political activists were arrested on charges of breaking United Arab Emirates' law of defamation by insulting heads of state, namely UAE President Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Vice President Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan through running an anti-government website that expressed anti-government views. The trial of the UAE 5 attracted international publicity and protest from a number of human rights groups, including Amnesty International, which named the 5 men prisoners of conscience. The defendants were convicted and given 2 to 3 year prison sentences on November 27, 2011.